Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to make your very own track bar. That actually came out pretty nice. Alright, so the first step of making your own track bar is you need to put the vehicle on jack stands, of course, and then what you need to do is take off the old track bar and center your axle under the vehicle. I'll show you. So what I did right here was, it's kind of hard to see because of the light, but I measured from here to here, and about at 25 inches from here to here, I put a piece of string down to help me see where my axle is, and I also did it on the other side, on this side. So same location, 25 inches from here to here, and as you can see, my axle is a little off. So the guys that originally centered the axle didn't do a very good job. What I did was I put a strap before I took my track bar out. I put a strap in to keep my axle centered so I don't have to do this, but it looks like I have to anyways. When you take your track bar off, this is what you gotta do. Let me get you guys a better view. So that's the track bar mount on the axle side. Track bar mount on, frame side, axle side. And what I did was I put a ratchet strap to hold the axle just in place because I thought it was actually centered, but it's not. I put that in place, and then I took off the old track bar, which mounted from here to the old mount right here. And what I ended up doing was I bought the track bar mount from Arctic. It was the over the axle track bar mount, and it's pretty nice. So a problem that I had was I needed to make a custom track bar bracket, mainly because of the custom application that I'm using it for. They don't really make track bars for what I have, right? So, and the reason why I say that is because of this. When we're looking at my axle, I have the G2 axle. I think it'll be better if we see it from right here. So as you'll see, this is the axle bracket for the track bar. That in the distance is the frame size, and right here you can see the pumpkin is in the way. So what I need to do is create a bend in my track bar, which I'm a little worried about because I've never bent tube. Is it tube or pipe? Tube. I think it's tube. So I've never bent tube, and I had to go to Harbor Freight. I actually picked up a 12-ton bender. So there's been a lot of mixed reviews that I've seen on those. So I'm gonna work on some tricks, hopefully to get a really good bend, and then go from there. All right, so the second most important part is taking your measurements. So how you do that is you need to be aware of your geometry, your steering geometry, right? And so there's three things that you need to take into account. First one is that you need to have your drag link and your track bar need to be as parallel as possible. The second one is that they also need to be as flat as possible, right? That's the whole point of getting the over the axle track bar mount, is to get that, to flatten up that track bar and also be able to bring up your drag link a little higher, right? So it's flat and it's parallel. The third one is to have equal length, but as you'll see from here to here, and my track bar is going to be much shorter, and so hopefully it's not going to give me much bumps there, and I'll shoot you an update with how that is. So the next step is to get your hardware. So I have some Curry Johnny joints that I'm going to be using. You can also use Heim joints if you want, but I'm liking this joint to help alleviate some of the vibrations So make sure you have the correct jam nuts, joints that will fit your brackets and things like that. What I'll do is I'll leave in the description below the sizes of the joints that I'm using, along with the jam nuts, the bungs, and the size piping, so you have an idea what I'm using. So go ahead and throw this bad boy on. Alright, so you get your joints in. Make sure the zerk fitting is up just to make your life easier, and thread on those bungs so you can measure from the inside right here to the other side. So this to the other side, which is right here, right? And I threaded it out just a little bit to give some adjustability when I do install it. And I'm going to be putting a bend in that track bar to account for this bad boy, because I don't want it hitting it when I'm doing a crazy flex. So we are at about 20.5 inches, but what I'm going to do is cut the tube a little bit longer, because we are going to put a bend in it, accounting for the pumpkin. So the type of piping that I actually got was 1.5 inches, 1/4 of an inch wall, right? Pretty solid stuff. And so when I did measure it, I measured it from here. So remember, I need just a little under 21 inches to right about here. And that's actually, I measured out to, I added another 6 inches, because since this is my first time bending pipe, I'm not really sure how much to bend it, which area, so I'm giving myself 6 inches of play, so at the end I can just cut it off either at the straight end or at the end that's bent. So we'll see how it goes. Now it's time to bend the tube. And one of the tricks that I've learned to do this is to actually fill up the tube with sand. I did this was a cap of a spray can, and you'll see me start dumping sand through a filter, not a filter, but a funnel into the tube, try to get it as compact as possible. That's when I just wrap the top. You'll see at the bottom, I wrap the bottom with duct tape. I'll wrap the top once it's all the way filled, the top with duct tape as well, and then we're on to the tube bender. Now I don't know how well this trick does work, but you know, anything helps. So that's why I decided to go ahead and give this a try. Alright, so this is what I got here. I don't know if you guys can see. Get out of the sun. I marked them, it's really hard to see. I marked them on 1/2 inch increments. So when I'm gonna bend this way, and then I'm gonna try to bend it, bring the bender on this side in order to make straight, and then go around straight. So we'll see if I can end up doing that. Bend a little bit on this side, bend, 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 and then again on this side to straighten it up. So we'll see. And I also have a digital leveler, so in order to keep everything flat. Here's the new pipe bender, and I'm gonna go with this die right here, 1.25 inches. It's gonna be a little loose in there, but I don't want it, you know, can't have the small one. I think this is the next size down, 1 inch, and it doesn't fit. Let's see, it doesn't fit exactly. You see that? So can't use that one. I'm not gonna use this one, And so since that's 1, 2, 3, 4, what you have to do on this side, you have to count up 1, 2, 3, 4 and put the pins in the fourth one. Highly recommend marking the tube every ½ inch. Really helped even out the bends, and the way to do this is to mark the center of the die, and so you have a guide every ½ inch where to bend. Alright, just finished with bending the tube. Is it tube or pipe? I can never remember. Started bending the metal, and I was very careful with what I was doing, and I think we're good. I think we're good right now, and I'll show you the end result. Now I'm gonna cut off. So I don't know if you remember, I gave myself 6 inches to play with. But you don't really need to give yourself that much, maybe 2 or 3 inches at most. So there's a pipe, as you see, came down. There's a bend in it right here going that way. All this, bended it this way. I was able to cut off the access tube, which this is the perfect length for my application. I then took this tube to my bench grinder, grinded down the edges, as you'll see. Allows for more surface area for when I weld on the bungs. Then I also drilled a hole so I can weld in a little weld plug for the bungs. Overall, this came out way better than I thought it would, as this is my first time ever making this. At this point, it's just to double check everything fits and throw it back on the rig. I mounted it to the frame side mount, and I'm not mounted to this yet, but as you'll see right now, it's looking pretty good. It's not looking bad at all. I'll weld these in. We'll see how that goes. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to have the joint in there, but I'm just gonna go for it. We'll see what happens. Basically welded everything, and then I didn't really care for my welds, so I ended up grinding it all down, and then I sanded the whole track bar down. It actually came out pretty good, so let's check it out. Here it is. There it is. I ended up sanding it down. Looks pretty good. And well, I grinded the welds down, and then I sanded everything else with just a flap disc. So it looks pretty good, super shiny. So I'm gonna prep it for paint, and then I'll hit it with some paint. All right, so here it is. Here's the finished product. It's all painted, ready to go, ready to be put on. I didn't really wait for it to dry, so it could still get pretty scuffed up, but I'm just impatient and I'm just gonna throw it on the Jeep right now. Here's the final product, and this track bar has been on the Jeep for about 3,000 miles. It's holding up very well, so I highly recommend it. If you have any questions, concerns, feel free to comment below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.